Okay, so the Duolingo English Test. It's definitely a big deal now for showing your English skills,
Absolutely. Lots of places are using it.
And that AI scoring. Well, that's pretty modern, isn't it? Signals a real shift.
It does. And look, if you're thinking about taking it, wading through the official handbook, it can feel, well, a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, like studying for the test before the test.
Exactly. So that's what we're doing today. We've gone through that handbook, pulled out the really essential bits, the things you need to know to feel ready.
Think of this as your kind of focused guide. Our mission is to make it clear, give you practical insights.
We're zoning in on 3 main things from the handbook. The test format itself, the different question types you'll actually face, and then some common test taker challenges, things to watch out for.
Right, so by the end of this deep dive, hopefully you'll have a really solid understanding, feel more confident, and less, bogged down by all the details.
That's the plan.
Okay, so where do we start? The big picture.
Let's do that. The test format. So the handbook says you're looking at roughly an hour, start to finish.
An hour total. Doesn't sound too bad. How's that hour broken down?
It's basically 3 stages. First, there's the introduction and onboarding. That's quick, maybe 5 minutes.
Okay, the setup part.
Yeah, exactly. Tech check, camera, mic working, speakers, okay. Show your ID, go through the rules. It's like the pre-flight check.
Getting all your ducks in a row. Got it. What's next?
Then comes the main part, the adaptive test. That takes up the biggest chunk, about 45 minutes. This is where the real assessment happens.
Adaptive. Okay, that word comes up a lot. What does that actually mean for someone taking the test?
Well, it means the test changes based on how you're doing, especially the listening and reading questions. It's not like everyone gets the exact same questions.
So if I get one right?
The next one will likely get a bit harder, yeah. If you get one wrong, it'll probably ease off a little for the next one.
Huh. So the test is kind of figuring you out as you go. That's interesting.
It is. And it's an AI engine doing that grading in the background, in real time.
An AI deciding the difficulty.
And deciding when the test ends, actually. When it's gathered enough info to be confident about your score range, that adaptive section concludes.
So if it feels like the questions are suddenly harder or maybe easier, that's normal.
Totally normal. The handbook points that out. It's just the system working. And something to maybe keep in mind is that those early questions can really set the difficulty level for later ones.
So maybe take a little extra care at the beginning.
Could be a good strategy, yeah. Don't rush those first few.
Okay. And does this adaptive thing mean everyone gets a totally unique test?
Pretty much. The handbook mentions a huge bank of questions. So the chances of seeing the same question twice, even if you retake it, are really, really slim. That helps keep it secure.
Makes sense. Okay, 45 minutes adaptive. What's the last bit?
The final stage is the writing sample and the speaking sample. Together, they take about 10 minutes.
Okay, what happens there?
You get one question where you need to write a response, fairly detailed, and one question where you speak your response at length.
And these are scored differently.
Well, the crucial thing here is that these specific samples, your actual writing and speaking, get sent directly to the universities or institutions you apply to.
Oh, wow. So they actually see how you write and speak.
Exactly. It's like your personal showcase.
Yeah.
Gives them a direct feel for your abilities beyond just the score.
Like an audition piece. Okay. So that's the flow, setup, adaptive test, then the samples. Now that adaptive middle bit, you said it has different question types.
Oh yeah, quite a few. The handbook lists them all, which is helpful.
How many are we talking?
14 different types in total across the whole test.
14, okay.
Yeah, but they don't all appear the same number of times. The handbook gives a breakdown of the sequence, at least generally.
So what goes first usually?
Typically, you'll start with a set of read and select, that's about 15 to 18 words. Then a set of fill in the blanks, maybe 6 to 9 sentences. After that, usually 2 sets of interactive reading, each with 6 sub-questions.
Okay, so those kick things off. What about after that initial block?
Then it gets a bit more mixed up. You'll see reading complete, read aloud, and listen and type pop up randomly.
Randomly. How many times?
The handbook says you can expect each of those types about 3 to 6 times during that adaptive section. So yeah, keeps you on your toes.
Definitely. What else is in that random mix or comes later?
You'll also get interactive listening twice. Those are the conversations. Each has 5 or 6 questions. There's interactive writing once, which has 2 parts. And then toward the end of the adaptive part, you get the speaking ones. Listen, then speak twice. Speak about the photo just once. And read, then speak twice.
Wow, okay. That really does cover reading, writing, listening, speaking. all the bases.
That's the goal, a comprehensive check through different tasks. And then, like we said, after all that, you hit the final writing and speaking samples.
All right, format clear. Let's dive into part 2 of the handbook then. The question types. 14 sounds like a lot. Maybe we can hit the highlights. What should you really know about, say, read and select?
Sure, read and select. Okay, so you see words on the screen, one by one, about 15 to 18 of them. Some are real English words, some are fake, made-up ones.
And you have to decide.
Yep. You get just 5 seconds per word to click yes if it's real, no if it's fake.
5 seconds. That's quick thinking. How's it scored?
Just right or wrong, scored by the AI. It feeds into 2 subscores, interestingly. Comprehension and literacy, which is integrated, and then the individual reading score.
So it tests your vocabulary knowledge, basically.
Yeah, and how quickly you can access it. The key strategy the handbook mentions is paying super close attention to spelling. Those fake words often look very similar to real ones.
Tricky.
And knowing common prefixes, suffixes, affixes, and root words helps a lot. Appendix A in the handbook lists common ones, like knowing un or attention helps you spot real words faster.
Good tip. Appendix A. Anything else for read and select?
Yeah, remember that both American and British spellings count as real words, so color, both are yes. Being aware of those variations helps.
Okay, good to know. Let's move to fill in the blanks. What's the deal there?
Okay, fill in the blanks. You read a sentence, but one word isn't finished. You see the first few letters, then a blank.
And you type the rest.
Exactly. You get 20 seconds for each sentence to type in the missing letters. You'll get one set of these, maybe 6 to 9 sentences, and it's adaptive.
20 seconds. Seems a bit more relaxed than 5. How's this one scored?
Also, right or wrong by the AI, and it contributes to the same subscores. Comprehension and literacy, integrated, and reading, individual.
Still hitting those reading skills. What's the main strategy here according to the handbook?
Context, context, context. Read the whole sentence. The missing word will always relate somehow to the rest of the sentence. Maybe it's part of a common phrase, a synonym, or just fits grammatically.
So grammar helps too.
Definitely. Knowing if you need a noun, verb, adjective, that narrows it down. And again, the handbook mentions Appendix A. Those affixes and roots can help you figure out the missing part.
Right, spelling here. American or British?
For this one, the handbook says either is fine. Both American and British spellings are accepted for the word you type.
Okay, one less thing to stress about. Now, read and complete sounds a bit bigger.
It is. You get a short passage. The first and last sentences are complete, but in the middle sentences, some words have missing letters, just like fill in the blanks.
But multiple blanks in a passage.
Yep. And you have 3 minutes total to complete all the missing letters in the entire passage. You'll see this 3 to 6 times, and it's adaptive.
3 minutes for the whole thing. Sounds like you need to pace yourself. Subscores.
The same again. Integrated comprehension and literacy and individual reading.
Okay, strategies for this longer task.
First, read the whole passage before typing anything. Get the main idea, the context. Those first and last sentences really help. Then, tackle the blanks. Use the starting letters given, think about the grammar, the tense, and look for related words nearby in the passage. Sometimes a clue is right there.
Using the text itself. Clever. Anything else?
Yes, a key point. The handbook states that for read and complete, the unfinished words will only use American spelling, so be mindful of that if you typically use British spelling.
Ah, okay, specific to American spelling here. Good to know.
And yes, Appendix A, again for affixes roots. And finally, reread the whole thing once you've filled the blanks. Make sure it makes sense.
Always good advice, that final check. Let's switch to listening. Listen and type. What's involved?
Simple concept. You hear a sentence spoken in an American accent, and you type exactly what you hear.
How many tries? How much time?
You can listen up to 3 times total, and you have 1 minute to type it all out. This comes up 6 to 9 times, and it's adaptive.
3 listens, 1 minute. Seems fair. Scoring.
The AI compares your typed version to the correct sentence. It gives a score based on accuracy. This one has integrated comprehension and conversation, and individual listening.
Okay, so accuracy is key. Strategies.
The handbook suggests, first listen, just get the main meaning. Don't panic about catching every word. Second and third listens, focus on the details, the words you missed, fix any typos, and crucially, add punctuation. Capital letter at the start, period, or question mark at the end.
Punctuation counts.
Yes. Basic punctuation is expected. Also, using your grammar knowledge helps confirm words, and being aware of how words connect in spoken English connected speech helps too.
Right, like gonna instead of going to.
Exactly, and sentence stress, don't miss those little function words. Oh, and sentences can be up to 20 words long.
20 words.
Okay.
Okay, good, heads up. Both spellings accepted here when typing.
Yes, American or British spelling is fine for your typed answer in listen and type.
Good. All right, let's move to speaking. Read aloud.
Okay, read aloud. You see a sentence written on the screen. You have 20 seconds to read it out loud, clearly.
Just one take.
Just one recording attempt per sentence. You'll do this 3 to 6 times, and it's adaptive.
20 seconds. Need to be fluent. What skills is this testing?
It feeds into integrated comprehension and conversation and individual speaking. The AI is essentially assessing your pronunciation and fluency.
Okay, pronunciation focus. Tips from the handbook.
Practice silently first. Read the sentence in your head once before you hit record. Helps smooth it out. Pay attention to punctuation commas, periods, use them for natural pausing and rhythm.
Good point. What about long sentences?
Break them into meaningful chunks based on the grammar. Vary your stress. Emphasize the important words, not the little ones like the or a. Speak clearly at a normal volume. Enunciate. And again, sentences can be up to 20 words.
Okay, silent practice, punctuation cues, clear enunciation. Got
Yeah.
it. Now, interactive reading. Sounds complex.
It's definitely more involved. You'll see this twice in the middle of the test. Each time you get a passage, 70 to 140 words. One might be a story, the other more informational. And for each passage, there are 6 sub-questions you need to answer. You get about 7 or 8 minutes for the whole set, the passage, and all 6 questions. It's adaptive and hits comprehension and literacy integrated and reading individual.
6 questions in 7 and 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Need to be efficient. What are the question types within this?
Okay, first is complete the sentences. You see the first part of the text with maybe 5, 10 missing words. You pick the best word for each gap from options.
Okay.
Second, complete the passage. The rest of the text appears, but one whole sentence is missing from the middle. You choose the best sentence to fit in.
Right.
Third and fourth are to highlight the answer questions. You read a question about the passage, then you have to click and drag to highlight the exact answer within the text.
Precise highlighting needed.
Very precise, yes. Then, fifth is identify the idea. Choose the option that best summarizes the main idea of the whole passage.
Okay.
And finally, sixth, title the passage. Choose the best title for the passage from the options provided.
Wow, that's a sequence. Strategies for managing all that.
Yeah. Time management is huge. Aim for about a minute per sub-question. Use context clues for the fill-in-the-blanks parts. Read carefully. Consider all options. Use elimination. For the highlighting, be exact. For the main idea and title, make sure you've got the overall gist of the passage.
Makes sense. Treat each part, but keep the whole text in mind. Now, the other interactive one, interactive listening. What's that like?
This one simulates a conversation. You'll do 3 short conversations, maybe student to student or student professor, based on a scenario they give you and we'll start.
You participate.
Kind of. You listen to one person speak, then you choose the best written response from several options to continue the conversation naturally.
Okay.
Oh.
Choose the best reply.
Exactly. Your score depends on picking the right responses. Then, after the conversation finishes, you have 75 seconds to write a summary of it.
A summary too.
Yeah.
Okay. Subscores.
Integrated comprehension and conversation and individual listening.
Strategies for this conversational task.
Pay really close attention to that initial scenario. It sets the scene. Choose responses that logically follow what was just said. The wrong options usually sound out of place contextually, not necessarily grammatically wrong.
So focus on meaning and flow.
Precisely. And if you have time after the conversation part, reread the transcript quickly before writing the summary. For the summary, just hit the main points: who, what, when, where, if mentioned. You can write it in first person, I heard, or third person, they discussed.
Good to know about the summary perspective. Okay, that covers a lot of question types. Let's shift to part 3 of the handbook, test taker challenges. This sounds really practical.
It is. It's about avoiding common slip-ups. Things like setting up your space correctly, deciding when to test, and avoiding mistakes that could, unfortunately, invalidate your score.
Right. Let's start with the test space. The handbook says you can take it anywhere that meets the rules, which is flexible but means you need to know the rules. What are the absolute must-haves?
Okay, equipment first. You need a computer, laptop, or desktop with a working front-facing camera, microphone, and speakers.
No headphones.
No headphones allowed. Also, no second monitor, no tablets, no phones to take the actual test. Use an approved browser, have stable internet.
And crucially,
You must be alone in the room, no other people, and no outside materials nearby, no notes, books, phone within reach, nothing like that. No typing help either. Make sure laptop's charged or plugged in. They do a tech check during the onboarding to help with this.
okay, that's the tech. What about the room itself?
Needs to be quiet. Good lighting is important, so your face is clearly visible on camera the whole time. And private, no interruptions, closed doors, closed windows.
Minimize distractions. Makes sense. Anything else for setup?
Yes, your ID. You need a physical, original, government-issued ID. No copies, no pictures on your phone. They'll ask you to show it to the camera at the start. Check the Duolingo English Test website beforehand for the list of accepted IDs for your country. Have it ready to go.
Tech, environment, ID. Got it. Now, deciding when to take it. Any specific advice there?
The main point is, choose a time when you feel your best. Because you can take it any time. Pick a slot when you're naturally most alert and focused. Are you a morning person? An evening person?
So listen to your body clock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, common sense things. Be well rested. Go to the bathroom before you start. Have water nearby. Maybe take a short break, like 20-30 minutes right before you log in, just to clear your head. Maximize your focus.
Good advice. Okay, let's talk about those common mistakes the handbook warns about, the ones that can get your results invalidated. What's the first one?
Looking away from the camera too much. Remember, human proctors review the recordings. Glancing down at your keyboard to type is okay, but extended looking away, like out a window or to the side, can raise flags. Try to keep your eyes generally on the screen.
Okay, keep focus forward. What's next?
Being interrupted. We mentioned being alone, quiet room, closed doors. Tell people you live with that you absolutely cannot be disturbed for about an hour. Maybe even put a sign on the door.
Prevent interruptions proactively. Got it. Third mistake.
Using other applications or programs on your computer. Before starting, close everything else. Email, chat apps, browsers, dictionaries, Grammarly, everything. Maybe even temporarily uninstall non-essential programs that might pop up. Disable browser extensions and notifications. Check Task Manager or Activity Monitor to be sure.
Clean digital slate.
Yeah.
Essential. And the last common mistake.
Copying or using memorized answers. Respond naturally, in your own words, to the specific question asked. Practicing is great, but don't just recite a pre-prepared answer that doesn't quite fit the prompt. It often sounds unnatural and can be flagged.
Right. Authenticity is key. So those four, looking away, interruptions, other apps, memorized answers, really crucial to avoid.
Absolutely. Following the rules ensures your score is valid. The handbook mentions the full rules are online, definitely worth a careful read. Being aware of these pitfalls is a big part of being prepared.
Well, this has been incredibly helpful, a real deep dive into that handbook. We've hit the format, the key question types, those common challenges.
Yeah, hopefully you, the listener, feel a lot clearer now about what to expect and how to prepare effectively.
Definitely. And remember, the handbook itself suggests using the sample questions book and that free 30-minute practice test on the official website. You can't beat hands-on practice.
Absolutely. Understanding the test structure and question types really does empower you. And knowing the rules means your hard work gets the validation it deserves.
Couldn't agree more. So use this info, focus your prep, and feel confident.
Yeah. Good luck with your test.